You know those habits everyone calls toxic? Being messy, talking to yourself, overthinking everything? What if they aren't flaws at all? What if they're actually signals that your brain is wired just a little bit differently? Well, today, we're going to flip the script on 6 of these so-called toxic habits that might just mean you're a genius.
So, when you picture a genius, what comes to mind? Is it someone who's, perfectly polished and organized, always acing every test? Well, hold that thought, because we are about to completely shatter that image. Okay, so check this out. On one side, you have what society expects a genius to be: polished, confident, perfect grades. But on the other side is the psychological reality, often messy, chaotic, and full of overthinking and unconventional habits. And that gap, right there, that's where the whole myth of the perfect genius comes from. And today, we're busting it wide open.
So we're calling this the polished genius myth, and the core idea is simple. Those 6 habits society loves to label as toxic aren't actually flaws. They're signals. Signals that your brain is operating in a way most people just don't get.
All right, so let's dive into the first 3 of these misunderstood signals. Think of these as habits of a deeper mind, because they really show what's cooking under the hood.
Okay, first up, you talk to yourself. And look, I get it, a lot of us do this, right? But you might feel a little weird if someone catches you in the act.
And that's because society kind of drills it into us that it's a little strange, maybe even a sign of weakness. But honestly, that could not be more wrong.
You see, there's a really cool psychological reason for this, and it's called verbal processing. Basically, when you talk your thoughts out loud, your brain kind of tricks itself. It hears those words as if they're external input, like someone else is talking to you. It's this incredible hack for organizing chaos and, believe it or not, solving problems way faster. So, no, it's not weakness. It's your powerful brain literally firing on all cylinders.
All right, habit number 2, you overthink the small stuff. And this one, oh man, this one gets written off as just anxiety all the time, but trust me, there's way more to it.
We've all heard that before, right?
Just let it go. You're overthinking it. But that advice, it totally misses what your brain is actually trying to do. See, this isn't just run-of-the-mill anxiety. Psychologists call it deep processing. Think of your brain like a supercomputer that's constantly running simulations. It's analyzing every possible outcome, every little consequence, and spotting patterns that, frankly, most people just breeze right past. Your mind just refuses to leave things half-solved. It has to get to the bottom of it. And that's not a flaw. That is serious analytical depth. Okay, number 3. This is a classic. You have a, let's call it messy, physical space. Your desk, your room, maybe you prefer the term organized chaos. And society is super quick to slap a label on that, right? Lazy, disorganized, unacceptable. But what if that mess is actually the fuel for brilliance?
It all comes down to something called creative freedom. And get this, studies actually show that a messy desk can make you more creative. Turns out a super tidy space can box you into conventional thinking. But a little chaos, it forces your brain to break out of its rut and forge these wild, unpredictable connections. That mess on the outside is just a mirror of the brainstorm happening on the inside. If you thrive in that chaos, you're likely playing in the same league as some of the most creative thinkers out there.
Okay, ready for the next 3? Let's do it. These next ones are all about unconventional processing power. They really highlight how a brilliant mind is just, built differently. So, number 4, you have weird sleep patterns. Maybe you're a total night owl, or maybe you're the person who jolts awake at 3 a.m. with a game-changing idea.
And what do people say? Oh, that's just poor discipline. But here's the thing. So many of the greatest minds in history had the most bizarre sleep schedules.
This is all about what we can call creative quiet. When the world finally shuts up for the night, your mind is free from all the noise and distractions of the day. That lightning bolt of inspiration that hits you in the dead of night, that is not random. That's your brain finally getting the peace and quiet it needs to do its deepest, most creative work. All right, on to number 5. You pull back from social scenes, and you absolutely cannot stand small talk. And man, this one can really get you misunderstood. People can see it as you being antisocial or arrogant, maybe even rude. But what's actually happening psychologically is way more interesting. What's really happening is that your brain is craving mental space. It's not being antisocial for the sake of it. It's demanding solitude so it can focus and rearrange all these huge ideas floating around. And small talk? It feels so draining because it's like trying to entertain a supercomputer with 2 plus 2. Your mind is built for depth.
It wants a real challenge, not fluff.
And that brings us to our sixth and final habit. You are incredibly impatient with inefficiency. You know what I'm talking about? Slow meetings, people repeating instructions you got the first time, discussions about problems with obvious solutions. It can feel almost physically painful.
Now this habit, this is probably the one that gets the most hate. People can label you as arrogant, rude, maybe even toxic, because that impatience comes out so strong.
But again, there's something else going on. It's a cognitive speed mismatch. Your brain is just processing information at lightning speed. You're already 5 steps ahead while everyone else is still on step 1. So what comes across as arrogance is really just your mind operating at a completely different frequency. And repetition feels like torture, because for your brain, it's totally and completely redundant.
So, okay, we've gone through all 6 of these habits. What's the big takeaway here? It's that a truly rare mind doesn't look like what we've been told. It's time to embrace the reality of what high intelligence actually looks like, mess and all.
So let's just run through them one more time. Talking to yourself, overthinking the little things, a messy space, weird sleep patterns, avoiding small talk like the plague, and being super impatient with inefficiency. You see the pattern here, right? These are not character flaws. They're just the misunderstood side effects of having a mind that's operating with incredible depth and power.
And this right here is the most important part of this whole thing. You don't have to change yourself to fit into some box you were never meant for. The real key isn't to fix these supposed flaws. It's to understand that they are features of how your brain works. And once you understand that, you can start to harness their true power.
So, I want to leave you with a question. Looking at this list, which of these habits do people misinterpret in you the most? I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.